Get ready to rock out with your talk out. It's the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Guys, welcome back. It is the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. You hear the three chugs on the guitar, and you know what time it is. It's time to rock and roll.
Right on.
All night and party every day. And why am I quoting Kiss? Because there is some Kiss news.
Yes, there is.
There's some Kiss news. So we're going to talk about Kiss snooze.
Aww.
Kiss snoozed. Kiss snoozed. That's their news. They snoozed.
They're old.
But we have some Kiss news. Anyways, Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. We are here to rock out with your talk out, to jam out with your clam out. Whatever your thing is, folks, whatever which way you swing. For even people who swing both ways, AC/DCs, there's no problem here, right?
AC as well as DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Country and Western.
That's right, both kinds.
The sheriff is near! The sheriff is near,
yeah. He's real close.
That popped into my mind. This is what happens to me, Mr. Pittsburgh.
Yes?
This random shit. Oh, LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. Go do that. Random shit pops into my mind as I was leaving because I needed to run out real quick because there was no beer. And Mr. Pittsburgh does not function well unless there's beer involved.
That's right.
So,
I can finally start drinking some beer again, and I'm going to do it. You people. This bus, that's for you guys. As I was preparing to leave the house, that just the line, the sheriff is near popped into my head, and I had to let it out. Did you scream it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I've been saying it for the past about an hour.
Really? Oh, boy. That's called Tourette's. It's called Podcast Night Tourette's.
I don't know what it is with me, but sometimes like a saying or something from a movie will just, and I want to say it over and over and over and over. Oh, I'll beat it to death, but that'll be okay.
Right. We're brothers from different mothers. I do the same thing. Something will just pop into my head. And then,
I just remember seeing that movie, which we're referencing Blazing Saddles.
Of course, yes.
I just remember, go to rockrageradio.com and download the free app and listen to Lily V6. Lily is, she has returned to the podcast. Unfortunately, she had cramps. Not cramps.
She was working on
she's involved with the local theater, and they were doing a krampus thing.
Cramps.
And she was working on her cramps. Oh, and so she was involved with that last week, and this week she's got the shit that's going around the weird.
She's got the crud.
She's got the crud.
Anyway.
She's got the jack. She's got the jack.
We'll just say she has the jack. The crud jack, yes.
She's got the jack. So let's just send your hearts and prayers to Lily.
To our little Lily.
Should I give out her address so people can come and visit her? No, I'm just kidding.
Sure, because I live above and I'll make TikToks of all the people showing up.
You should watch that because a lot of people know where I live. So let's talk about different subjects. But anyway, so Lily will be back. She's just under the weather, and we wish her speedy recovery.
We miss them. We miss her. Damn it. I always get that confused.
I know. It's like having three people in the room when she's here with them knockers. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, I said knockers. It's my podcast.
That's nice.
And I'll cuss if I want to. If I want to. Yeah, just real quick, everybody. I think people have forgotten this. Remember in the old days, like if you didn't like something on Channel 4, what did you do?
You turned the channel.
You went to Channel 2 or
11 or whatever we had.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Remember when you could get News 9? It was a Channel 9. It was like in Steubenville or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, was that UHF or something?
Yeah, no, that was not.
Oh, every now and again it would come in.
Channel 13.
Yeah. No. Channel 13 was...
Channel 4, Channel...
53.
Yeah, 53. Channel 53. It was everything above, 14 and above or 15 and above. Yeah.
Channel 22 is WPTT. That's right.
Yep.
Look at us.
Yep.
We still remember some things.
I love Channel 53. They were a real weird station for about half of my life.
Yeah.
And then later in high school, they kind of really it's like they must have got some money and they started to get like way much more professional program.
Exactly.
Before it was like, all right, tonight it's the bingo at the Oaks Club or whatever,
Hey, it's Tuesday at 8:00. It's time for the Three Stooges.
It was the
weird old stuff that they could get.
That's where I saw the Little Rascals.
Exactly.
For the first time, and the Three Stooges, and Abbott and Costello.
Gilligan's Island was on there. Yeah. That's the shows they could get.
UHF.
Yes.
There's a movie by
I love that movie.
What's his name? Your
Weird
brother.
Al. Did you say my brother?
Your brother, yeah.
Weird Al Yank.
You were like Mr. Pittsburgh in high school. He was Weird Al before Weird Al.
That's right.
So
somebody owes me some money.
We got to get him on the podcast.
I want to get my Yank money.
Yank my Vic.
Oh my!
Speaking of Vic,
yes,
Mr. Pittsburgh this week did something. Right. Oh, and don't forget to check out Wolf's Customs.
Wolfie! Don't forget Wolfie.
So listen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say something here.
I'm trying to help you out.
I'm trying to help you out because you went.
Help myself.
You went to the
Mecca?
the chapel. That is Guitar Gallery.
Yes.
It is like a little guitar chat. That, in fact, do you know what used to be in that exact room?
No.
A Christian bookstore.
Really?
Feed My Sheep is what it was called.
Wow. Now Feed Kevin's wallet.
It is a kind of like, when you walk in there, it is we're talking about Guitar Gallery in Canonsburg. Looked them up, the famous, the illustrious Vic Dupre.
Yes.
Written these amazing books about Les Pauls.
Yes.
And Vic's the kind of guy who's got like, what's his name? Bradley, what's his name? Brad from Aerosmith.
Oh,
Brad.
Fudge. Why don't you just go Rick Nielsen? Because at least I know.
Exactly. On speed dial.
Yeah. They call him for advice.
Yeah, they call him, Ron Wood. He knows Ron Wood's number.
Wasn't Bad Company in town, and whoever was playing guitar at the time called him looking for a lesson. I mean, it's the thing of like, if you hang out in that store, now Vic is long since retired, unfortunately, so he's not down in the store anymore. But back in the day, you go in there and he'd be on the phone giving, that guitar is worth $25,000. He would be on the phone.
And a guitar worth $25,000 in 1987 was like, that's a $80,000 guitar now.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. But it was always such a cool place to hang out. But I needed to get my daughter's stepbrother. What, did we just become best friends? My daughter's stepbrother, my ex-wife and her husband got him an acoustic guitar.
Touch my drum set.
What's that? Drum set.
Touch my drum set.
Awesome. Yeah, don't touch my. You put your balls on my. Anyway, so I said, well, does he have a tuner? Because he has an electric guitar. You okay?
Don't make me laugh tonight.
Sorry about it. I'll try not to. Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, but I said, does he have a guitar tuner? And my daughter's like, well, he just plugs into his computer. I'm like, yeah, this is an acoustic guitar. This is old school. He can't plug it in. So I was going to get him a little snark.
They don't understand acoustic technology?
No. It's my ex-wife, dude. Come on. Anyway, so I had to go down to the guitar gallery. And just walk in. As soon as I walked in, I heard angels singing, and then I walked over to the wall of Les Pauls. Now, I remember during COVID going down there, and they had maybe 2 brand new Les Pauls and maybe 1 used one. And I questioned Tommy. Tommy was working that day. And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, well, because of COVID. He doesn't really sound like that. He sounds like that. He's like, well, because of COVID, we can't get shipments in. But now it's wall-to-wall Les Pauls again. Nice.
Yeah. He went through weird things. I remember going down there during that time, and he had Les Pauls, but all he had was top of the very fucking cream of the crop.
Right.
Because that's the stuff that's hardest to sell.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't get any student guitars, and I can't get any of the mid price, like the traditionals or the classics or like anything like that. He just had stupid guitars that he'd had in there for a while because they were like fucking crazy expensive guitars. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice to see that they've got their inventory back, and I can't say enough about those guys. You walk in, and maybe you haven't been in there 6 or 7 years or whatever. Maybe you're out of town on business. Anyway, and as soon as you walk through the door, they're like, brother, because they used to call me brother. And brother Kevin, how you doing? Oh, guys, how you doing there? And you don't have to buy anything, although I always do. Matter of fact, I walk back to the back where they have all the books, and Tommy came out. He was looking for something for me, and he came down the stairs, and I said, I always have to come back here to see if Vic is going to get my money again, because Vic Dupre writes books. He's written a bunch of books on the classic, the 58 through 60 Les Paul Sunbursts. He just did one on Gold Top.
Affectionately known as Bursts.
Burst, yeah, it's Burst Believers, I believe, is the name of the books. There's like 6 or 7 of them. I have them all. And he did a Gold Top one, and his latest thing, he's going to write a book on the ES335 for all you guitar nerds.
Oh,
that's going to be his new one.
Exclusive
that's
here.
Gonna be
Excellent.
His new one. Yes.
Loudini Rock and Roll Circus exclusive. There's going to be a new book by Vic Dupre. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
Man,
yes.
Man, I'm getting a chubby.
Is that what that is? That's not 2 pillows.
Do you know there's a blues guitarist named Papa Chubby?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Yes. Anyway, but yeah. So that was the other thing. Now you always talk about the films you see, films, and I always like make notes. I got to get this one right.
I watched a review. Excuse me, real quick before it leaves my brain.
Sure.
I watched tons of film analysis videos and stuff, and there was one guy that kept on saying "film." He was British. Film.
I was going to say.
I even wrote in the. That was my comment. Film with a question mark with the emoji was scratching his chin. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, those British people always saying things like the boot of the car. I live in a flat. Come on. Anyway, yeah. So. Lou always talks about the movies he sees. I always make little notes. I got to check this out, blah, blah, blah. But, so what I do is I go out to used DVD stores.
What? That drink's going fast.
Is it good? Yeah. Well, you've got more to fill it up. So don't you worry. Don't you
worry.
Praise
his name. I come to praise his name. Go ahead.
Anyway. So I always go to half price books or here in the Pittsburgh area, we have the Exchange. And I always but this DVD, I'm sorry, this Blu-ray caught my eye because it stars Charlize Theron, who I love. Charlize, if you're listening tonight, baby, I'm madly in love with you. So anyway, it was called Dark Places. It's 2015.
Is this the one about those people that go to that place with that guy?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I know that dude, man.
Dark Places.
I play with him down at the Fillmore, man.
Yeah, man.
It's almost time for that.
I know, right? So get it home, pop it in, and I said Charlize is in it.
Are you gonna go? Hair pie.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. But
that's what movie is that from?
Oh, that's from Revenge of the Nerds. That's what I did it this week sometime. Somebody said the word nerd, right? And I go, nerds! Right? You remember the scene where I thought she would and they just looked at me like, okay. Anyway, so I popped the thing in, and one of my other favorite actresses, Christina Hendricks. You know who she is? Full-figured redhead
that's
girl.
Jimi Hendrix's stepdaughter. Yeah.
You see the look on my face? I'm like, wait, really? No.
Of course, I'm just lying.
Yeah, she was in Mad Men. She was the redheaded secretary.
I'm just being serious. Go ahead.
I like girls with curves. So, Christina, if you're listening, hey, baby, what's happening? How you doing there? But anyway, okay, so watching this movie. Now, there are one of 2 possibilities here. It's a good movie. Kind of keeps you interested. You're like, what the hell happened here? Okay. Now, I've either seen this movie in the past and kind of forgot about it. Possibility. You know how us old people are. Or I listen to way too many true crime podcasts because about halfway through, I'm starting to figure it out. And at the end, there's a twist. You're like, it wasn't even on the horizon. I'm like, but I knew something was there. But yeah, it's a pretty cool movie. Like I said, from 2015, 2 of my favorite actresses. She's her and Christina. Oh my God, those two. Yeah.
They were in that movie about those people in that place where we went that guy at one time.
Yes. But yeah. So I watched that. So that was kind of cool. I'm like, oh, I actually have a movie I watched. I also watched A Bridge Too Far. I don't know if you're into older war movies.
I saw that many years ago, and I'm going to put that on my list because I would like to rewatch that. Actually, I saw it when I saw it like on TV.
Yeah, well, I saw it in the theater with my dad. Wow. This is from 1970. Oh, it was 1977 because it was the same year as Star Wars. And just to see all these like Alec Guinness is in it. You know, who else? Robert Redford, super young, and I'm looking at this one actor, and I'm like, who the. I know him. Was he in The Hobbit? Who is he? It was fudge. Who played Hannibal Lecter?
Anthony Hopkins.
It was Anthony Hopkins. But he was young. He had hair. He had a mustache, and I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, a lot of cool people, and I saw that at the Half Price Books too, and I'm like, man, I haven't seen this since I saw it with my dad, and it holds up. It's a lot of fun to watch. A Bridge Too Far.
Yeah, well, 70s, right? Maybe
77.
Yeah,
77 is when it came out. So I saw that movie and Star Wars the same year.
You know what movie came out also around the same time?
Yes.
Was Force 10 from Navarone.
Oh,
which is the sequel to the Guns of Navarone.
Yes.
I went on a marathon and watched them back to back like about a year ago, and really fucking enjoyed them. I especially loved, and I remember as a kid seeing Force 10 from Navarone, and the giant Russian guy who keeps calling the Blocky, we like Blocky.
Oh my god. Different era.
Oh my god.
Well, they should try putting that in a movie now.
Even then, it was like,
you're cringy.
You're making a cringy joke.
Like,
it was funny, but it was cringy funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the poor black guy is just like, what?
All right. So, what were you up to this here week?
Well, I finished The Only One Left, which is a novel.
Okay. Which one was left?
By Riley Sager.
Okay.
The
only one left.
The only one left.
The only movie I have not seen. I finished the only one left.
The only movie left in the world.
Threw me off there.
And this is is not a horror. It is a kind of like thriller, whodunit kind of situation.
Yep.
And it's about this woman's down on her luck. She's like a home health aide. Her previous patient died while under her care, and she was investigated and kind of accused of maybe assisting this woman's suicide and all kind of stuff like that. And so she's kind of shamed and ridiculed. She's been like, suspended from her job without pay. She has to go back and live at home with her dad, and finally, she gets cleared of everything. It's a real kind of she has a really kind of adversarial relationship with a local police detective.
Okay.
Finally, she gets cleared, and she gets this job at this mansion called Hope's End. Awesome name of a place, by the way. Like, it's a great title, and every time I say it, like, really, it almost rings too true, because when you hear about, but there's a crazy family history. This woman back in 1929, and it's like the kids sing a rhyme about it.
Oh, okay.
And it says that Lorena Hope, stabbed her parents with a knife and hung her sister with a rope.
Oh, okay. I see.
And
yes.
So now it's this woman. I believe it's Lorena. I may have the first name, but the last name is Hope. And she's an invalid. She can only move her left hand, and she can eat and stuff like that.
Okay.
She has to be taken care of constantly. And so this is the only gig that they're willing to give her, and it's like the least wanted gig because there's all this suspicion around this thing, and it's a kind of this place is starting to kind of it's really seen its better days because it was at its height in the 20s, and it takes place in the 80s.
Okay.
So it doesn't take place now, which is neat. It's a period piece. It's very cool. There's references to music and stuff from that and movies and stuff.
Right.
She talks about taking her mother to go see Return of the Jedi or something like that. But this thing has so many twists. You felt like you had fucking whiplash by the end of it. You know what I mean? But then it's really And no, just when you think, it's like they keep pulling masks off, but
yeah,
no.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
Maybe that would have been clever, but really
Look
what he
over
did
here.
was, look over here, that kind of thing, And
Who's this guy?
So by the end, you're kind of exhausted, and it wears... At first, it's kind of cool, but then it starts to wear a little... I thought that wore a little thin. It was like, calm down with the thing. Although... But what they were... Because they wanted to give a certain kind of ending. I don't want to give it away because it's actually entertaining. I had a good time reading. I don't mean to make it sound like it was just it's very pulpy. Okay, this is not literature.
Okay.
This is just a fun
little
fun kind of read. It's called The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and I listened to it on Audible and thought the Audible production was excellent.
Nice.
It's read by two different women, and when they do men's voices, they do them right.
Okay.
Oh my God! Sometimes the ladies, when they read these Audible books, they're reading when they try to do a man's voice, like, I'm like, we all sound like Homer fucking Simpson.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God! There's a lot of novels that I was like, really, did not want to get on Audible because I saw it was a woman reading. I'm sorry, ladies.
No, this
I'm
is not
sorry.
gonna end well.
Once that happens, and sometimes the story's good, and you're like, and it really takes you out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. But anyways, the greatest Audible reader of all time is the late great George Guidall. If you ever get a chance to listen to anything he's read, I listened to him read the fucking alphabet.
Really?
This man's voice is fucking music, and he's mostly famous, and I can't remember which soap opera it was, but he was a daytime soap star. But he has this amazing voice, and he reads some Stephen King's books and some stuff like that. And he's really, he does some nonfiction stuff too. He's fucking great. Anyway, so check that out. Let's talk about some movies.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, real quick. While we're talking about stuff with crazy twists and turns, True Fiction. I accidentally watched this movie. The app. The app that I that I pulled up said that I was watching a movie called Alone, and the whole movie I thought I was watching Alone. And there's even a scene in this movie where somebody says, "And you are really alone." It's like a big moment. I'm like, okay, hence the title. No, I got to the end of the movie and found it's called True Fiction. This happens on some of these third-party apps that you use to watch movies. And this is another thing I had no fucking idea. If anybody's seen this movie, if you want to send me a comment or an email explaining to me this movie. I don't know what the fuck happened in it. I don't know if it was a good movie. It seemed kind of hokey and corny and cheap, like 1990s Sci-Fi Channel kind of.
Okay.
In the first, and when you get to the third act, it turns into a brutal bloodbath.
Ooh.
It's complete. I shouldn't even. It's kind of a spoiler because you don't expect this movie's like, okay, it's cool. I guess it's kind of a. It's kind of a psychological thriller. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, man, it turns into the fucking Manson family. In the third act is just one. It's crazy. So that really kind of perked. They kind of brought it home at the end. Is it a good movie? I don't know. Like, it had stuff in it. Did it have enough stuff in it that was good versus stuff that sucked?
Yeah.
This might be just split down the middle. So watch at your own risk. Give it a try. There's certain movies I love watching around the holidays. I'm partially through Scrooged at the moment.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Do I even have it?
Yeah, I watched Violent Night.
Oh my!
Have you seen that?
No, I lived it. I was married. Oh,
David,
I'm just messing with you.
With David Arbor. Is that his name?
Oh, thank you very much.
Who was in Stranger Things? And that's really fucking good. When people say Die Hard is a Christmas movie,
yes,
this really is Die Hard as a Christmas movie.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's just like, it's over the top, crazy, but it's got heart. The little kid in it is just to die for. And it's got a great arc. Like the character played by David Arbor, Santa Claus, has this like amazing arc. It's like you're like by the end of the movie, you're like rooting for. It's like you're all caught up in the whole thing. Beverly D'Angelo is in it. She's an elderly woman who's like very much keeping it together. And She's fucking great, and she plays a total like just in your face like this woman owns this giant mega corporation, and she's a total they're all gathering at their mansion for Christmas, and then all hell breaks loose. But it is if you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. It's super fucking fun. Sharon, I saw it last year when it came out, and Sharon didn't see it, and I was like, you should watch it. I'm not gonna watch it, whatever. So this year I talked her into it. She's like, oh my god, that was so good. She was totally fucking loving it. And I watched Krampus.
Krampus, not Krampus.
From Krampus from 2015. There's a bunch of Krampuses. Watch the one from 2015. That's really good. It's a really good horror movie. It's stellar. Kiss did their last show. Were you a Kiss fan, Mr. Kissberg?
I take him or leave him. Didn't hate them. Not a super fan. Rock and Roll All Night comes on. I'm listening to it. Strutter, any other. I'll listen to them.
Detroit Rock City.
Yes. Oh, okay. I love them. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Wait a minute.
What?
Hotter Than Hell, and I think this song is fucking kick ass, and I know that this is like very politically incorrect, but Christine 16.
Yeah, that's a fun song. But you know what? They're singing it from the vantage point of a 16-year-old boy.
Or maybe a 13 or 14-year-old boy.
Even better.
That's what we were fantasize about, like the girls who were like 2 grades ahead of us. We were like, oh my god.
Yeah, those are our cougars.
Yeah. That's fine. They're our cougars. Ooh, it was like they were really totally made out of unobtainium. I mean, there was just no way. Those chicks didn't matter. They were so far out of your league. But why are we? Anyway, so
I don't know.
What are we, how are we going on? This is my kid. Oh, Christine 16. Sorry.
Oh, that's it.
Sorry, the mind. The mind. The mind. It's all about the mind. This is what we have tonight. Is we have our minds.
Are you sure?
Yes. So Kiss did their last show. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. They did not end it like that. How they ended it.
Oh my god, that would have been awesome.
Was okay. So what they have done is they have partnered with Industrial Light and Magic.
Oh, okay.
And Kiss, there's this very strange 30-minute presentation on YouTube right now with Gene and Paul, not George and Paul, Gene and Paul. With Gene and Paul and these two people that are like part of ILM and some other companies that put this Kiss, they're calling it something. The avatars.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
Okay. So, and they have the whole thing that's, I think it's, look, Gene Simmons is a Holocaust survivor and an American, an immigrant who came to this country and made good. He lived the American dream. This is not somebody who got all their money from, even me. I inherited more than Gene Simmons did. Okay.
Yeah.
He came from fucking nothing, and and he's going to have a certain perspective that you may find annoying. Okay. But he's one of those people that
persuasive.
He's very passionate, but sometimes it gets a little almost like it feels like propaganda. His passion and propaganda kind of blur a little wee bit. You know what I mean? But he had a certain experience, and I think he feels that is universal. In any case, he has a great story. In any case, he's kind of driving this thing. Paul and his brother from another mother, Paul Stanley. They're like me and you. There's so many people, we know they're really good friends. That's what they're like. And how that I'm not going to tell the whole thing. I put a link to it in the description here. You can watch it. But they get into like a lot of stuff about their sort of personal philosophies and how the Kiss is bigger than them and it belongs to all these people. And they even have a weird. One of the things that was really cringy was how they explained away Ace Frehley and Peter Criss.
Oh yeah.
They gave them like 2 sentences and was kind of like go away. And yeah. I see their point. Mm-hmm. I see their point. I do see their point, but no. It just came across as cringy. Yeah. But in any case, it's got its good points and bad points. It's not horror. It's not like you might want to check it. If you're a Kiss fan, I'm sure you've probably already seen it by the time you're listening to this. But at the end of it, what I'm trying to get to, at the end of it, they show a sample of this Kiss experience. Now, I don't know how this is going to play out. Yeah. If this is going to tour, if this is going to be in movie theaters, I don't know how it works. Yeah. But apparently, it is interactive. Oh. So the audience can react to Paul Stanley, and Paul Stanley can react back to them. Oh, wow. And I guess the plan is that it will kind of learn. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's very weird. And they show in the video, 30 seconds of God Gave Rock and Roll to You.
Yes.
Which is not even their song.
Right. This is Argent. Right?
Yep. We have to talk about that now. But so I think it looks very, I'm sorry, you know the expression uncanny valley?
Yes, the dead eyes.
I think it looks uncanny. It
does, yeah. It's good.
It's creepy.
Somebody commented that Paul Stanley's hair has never looked so good.
It's I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just, I think it's bizarre. But speaking of Kiss, I heard some, I can't remember what, I watch a lot of YouTube guitar channels, and I can't remember which guitar channel. A bunch of new ones have started to crop up that I've never seen before. I think it was one of them talking about the great Ace Frehley guitar solos. And I think I might have been drinking something, and I think I actually did a spit gag.
Interaction, yes.
I think I actually did one of those things, because it was Bob Kulick and a lot of other people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That were actually, in fact, there's a story that Bob Kulick told all the time of coming out of the studio and him. And Ace was sitting there playing video games, and Ace, without even looking at Bob, just kind of over his shoulder said, "So how did I sound?" And Bob was like, "Best ever, man. Best ever.
You were great.
Best ever." So that kind of that cracked me up when I heard this young YouTube guitar guy say this. But Ace has a new song, and Mr. Pittsburgh has not heard this, so I want you guys to check it out. Here we go.
Ace Frehley.
Okay.
Wow.
Listen, man, I did not expect that song to sound that fucking good.
Yeah.
Out of all the people, there's been so many classic artists that have put out records lately. Put out a record, you know what I mean? And we talked about some, we played some of them on here. I mean, that stands head and shoulders above most of them. Yeah. That's fucking kick fucking ass. That took me... it's more than nostalgia. It has a nostalgia thing, which is cool, right? You know what I mean? But it sounds just fucking good. It's like a fucking good song.
Yeah.
Really played well. Really played with a lot of energy. I mean, they don't sound like guys in their 70s.
No. Thank God.
You know what I mean? Like, now, how much of that is actually Ace doing it? I don't know, but can I just have the illusion for a minute?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I really like that.
I mean, isn't that fucking killer?
10,000 Volts is the name of the song.
Yeah, 10,000 Volts by Ace Frehley. I mean,
Good boy, Ace.
Who would have thunk it, right?
Who would have thunk it?
Also, by the way, when the Kiss released their little bit of trivia, their solo albums. The only one that had a top 10 hit was Ace Frehley with New York Groove, even though he didn't write that song.
But it's a cool song. I like it.
Okay, so blah 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 blah. Okay, now listen, man.
Talk to me, Goose.
So there's a I think it's Apple Plus, Paramount, something like that show called Monarch, which is the Monarch is the organization that in the MonsterVerse is sort of like in the background, kind of studying these kaiju. These these Godzilla and his kin.
Yes.
So so there's this show that's Kurt Russell is in it, and his son is in it too. They play the same character. Like 50 years apart.
Okay.
And and they do some fun things. There's a shot where their images are actually getting posed, and it works in the story, and it's a kind of like give you kind of chills kind of moment.
Okay.
His son, have you ever seen Wyatt Russell?
I'm sure I have.
He's a spitting image of his dad.
I have seen him.
He looks more like, Wyatt Russell looks more like Kurt Russell than Scott Eastwood looks like Clint Eastwood. And that's saying a lot.
Wow.
Scott Eastwood looks a lot like his dad. But, I mean, he looks like, if you go back, he could go back and redo his dad's whole career starting right now. Starting with when Kurt Russell played Elvis.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, he looks like that Kurt Russell.
Wow.
That's fucking crazy. But so that's kind of cool. Kurt Russell is fucking solid, and of course, it's a great cast. Just a brief appearance by John Goodman in it.
Oh, okay.
But it's a lot on characters that I'm starting to wonder if I care about. I'm into the thing. They just had the 5th episode, and I'm starting to we really need to get more into the monsters.
Yeah.
We need a little more monster action going on here. The story is mildly interesting and sometimes a little draggy. It's okay. I'm sort of following the MonsterVerse because I absolutely can't watch another superhero movie. No. It's just gag.
Right.
So, however, compare and contrast with this amazing. Listen, there are people saying that this movie is the greatest movie of 2023.
Oh.
I mean, serious critics are saying that.
Really?
And it's a fucking Godzilla movie.
Nice.
Godzilla minus
I've heard
one.
Good things, yes.
And
yes.
I would say that those critics, that is a little zealous. However, I think one of the things that people are excited about this movie is, first of all, it looks like one of those great movies. I don't know what he did. I don't believe it was shot on film. Maybe. I don't think so. But somehow, the way it's lit and everything, it looks like a Spielberg movie. It has that kind of vibe. It has that sort of vibe from, his great big movies, Close Encounters and all those movies from the 80s. It really has that kind of vibe. And it's a great story. It's just a really touching story about this. It's about the end of world. It's a period piece too. It's really well done. Period pieces are hard to do and everything. It's like this, it requires a higher budget and
sure. Everything has to be set to that era. Yeah.
And this takes place at the very end of the last few minutes of World War II in Japan, and this sort of post-war Japan, and what everybody's going through. And there's these people the old expression, war is hell. I mean, you can see, and they have a lot of conflicted emotions, and they get into all this little neat stuff about how that they're all sort of coming to terms with their side was wrong. They're kind of accepting that, we were sort of brainwashed. And that's all going on against the backdrop of something in the ocean that kind of comes and goes. And Godzilla in this movie takes place over. He kind of grows. It starts out, I think, in 1945 or 1946, and by the 1950 whatever, he's absolutely Godzilla as we know him. But when he first shows up in the movie, he shows up about the size of a T-Rex.
Oh, okay.
And he does a lot of shit. He does a lot of shit that you go you've never seen Godzilla do. This the first Godzilla attack in the movie comes really quick. Yeah. I was like, oh, they're gonna take their. You can tell it's a this movie's kind of an epic. They're gonna take some time through it. And I was not expecting the Godzilla to show up as fast as Godzilla showed up, and it was fucking badass. It was the most badass motherfucking Godzilla shit I've seen ever. I'm so glad Lily's not here because she would just be smacking me. I'm sure she loves Godzilla. Not. It's just like all kind of shit. It is fucking sick. And there's also this story developing kind of underneath it. And the things that the characters do are related to this whole situation they're in with the war and everything. And so it's off to a really good start. It has great cast, beautiful cinematography, amazing acting. It's got this really heartbreaking story about this kid. Finally, the main character, he comes home from the war. His parents are dead. His house, Kevin, is just fucking in rubble. You know what I mean? And that's where his whole neighborhood is like that. And people are living like this and just trying to figure out some way to fucking survive, And he's haunted by the nightmares of this thing that happened with this, Tyrannosaurus-sized Godzilla, and plus what he went through in the war and everything, and so it's just kind of real personal story, and it's got romance and comedy, and it's just one of those great movies. It's really, and so it's a movie we haven't seen in a while. It's it's like Hollywood. Make some of these.
Don't remake shit. Do this.
Just make a good story.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna even do a remake, make us love it. It was, it is, however, it's not without its faults. It really slows down in the second act, and Godzilla is kind of absent from his own movie for a little too long. In the kind of in the middle act. But it does there's a whole. And there's a lot of tropes that we've seen in movies that we grew up loving as well that are played out in a different way in this. The whole the people that got left behind, they're the ones that come up and Han Solo saving Luke Skywalker at the end of Star Wars. Yep. There's a kind of moment like that, and it's just it's fucking perfect. It's really good, except that it's too slow at times. They could have taken it's 2 hours and 2 hours and 4 minutes. They could have made it. They could have easily shaved off 10 minutes. It would have felt a lot tighter. And they still could have done everything they were doing. I mean, you really get to know, and care about these characters.
That's cool.
You're you're concerned about them. You want to see them survive. You don't know what's going to happen to them. You're anxious for them. They have little stuff going on, and you get caught up in their romances and their relationships. It's good. It was really well done. I highly recommend that. It makes the monarch stuff and the whole American Godzilla and Godzilla versus Kong seem like total fucking cheese vests.
Interesting.
Like those movies don't even really appeal to me now at all after seeing this, because it's wow. And Godzilla looks cool in it. It isn't the most perfect. Some people have criticized also it isn't the most perfect special effects, but because I thought the look worked. I thought with whatever they were doing, they made it work.
Okay.
Yeah,
the daughter wants to go see this, so I'm like, well, I'll go with you. So I'm just waiting to hear back from her. So
you got to read it. You have to read it.
Is it subtitles?
Yeah, it's subtitled.
I make sure I bring my grasses.
Your grasses.
My grasses.
So, anyways, I wanted to tell
my
you guys
apologies
that,
to our Asian listening.
We ran this in the group this week, and I just want to mention this real quick since I know that we got guitar players that listen. Yeah. This dude posts on Reverb this week a Gibson Explorer.
Can you even call it an Explorer?
Well, what somebody has done to this poor innocent guitar
oh my god
is they have chopped off the the back bout. Is that what you would call upper back bout of the
bottom?
Yeah,
the bottom horn. Not
yeah,
the horn
but that goes up. It's not really on the bottom. It kind of goes up this way. So it's like,
well, it's down at the bottom. It's on the opposite side of the bottom of the guitar from, like if you're standing the guitar with the neck standing straight up, vertically. That's what I'm talking about.
So, and this obnoxious douchebag calls this the Clapton cut.
Is it? I've never seen Clapton play anything like that. Have you?
Maybe what I was kind of wondering, and I guess a better podcast would have researched this. But yeah. I'm wondering if there wasn't some comment made by Eric Clapton that he didn't like the upper part of that pointy thing.
Now, so you're saying if you're standing up playing the guitar, it's the upper part. Okay, see, I'm thinking of the guitar standing on a guitar stand.
No,
so that's where we're getting confused. Okay. But yeah, if you're playing the Explorer, this would be the part of the Explorer down by your elbow.
Exactly. Right. And so I'm wondering if maybe there isn't some quote from Clapton saying that he doesn't like that, but that bothered him or something. Yeah. I don't remember ever seeing Clapton. I think Gibson would be making that guitar if Clapton ever did. I think there would be a special edition Clapton cut. And this guy's selling this for $6,295. Somebody mutilated this guitar.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
And it is not worth that. I hope that anybody sees this. It's a Gibson Explorer 2001. Please do not pay that amount of money, even close to that. But that is a guitar that's been heavily modified. It basically somebody
double cutting away a Telecaster. Don't do that either.
People do that.
Don't do
Who did that? Somebody did that.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. Well, at least one on Reverb. I'm like, no.
What's his name? What's his name cut? Didn't Trogley cut a double neck in half or something like that?
Yes, but it wasn't because when he said he was going to do it, he was going to cut two. Oh, he had an SG, I think he had an SG bass and an SG guitar, and he was going to combine the two, and he cut the other, and glued them together. No, it was the opposite. He had a double neck. He cut it in half and made two guitars.
Right.
Okay, that's what it was.
You know what I mean?
But it was just an Epiphone, so
he was.
But even that's like $1,200.
Yeah, that's expensive shit.
Trogley.
But so those guys, it's not worth it. It's garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I also wanted to bring this up too.
Yes.
I posted this in the group and we got some fun comments. But the Eddie Van Halen.
Uh-huh.
I just ran across it. There's a really good 5-watt World.
That's what it was. 5-watt World.
Guitars of Eddie, and that was he had that Ibanez Destroyer, which is
their
Gibson Explorer, but it's a Destroyer, and he took a chainsaw and cut out the same amount of wood, just in a different way, and made it look like and then he used
took a drill and drilled so it looked like.
But what he did was he made it look like shark teeth or something. And he could drill. And he drilled. What are those bolt things called?
Oh my gosh!
He put these bolt things.
A lag bolt. Is it called a lag bolt?
Maybe.
We screw it. It's there's two circles on either end, and these
circles. You can tell we do a lot of mechanic work.
Yeah, the two openings. There's two orifices.
If you wanted to be able to tighten something between two things, you'd put this kind of bolt in there, and you could tighten it, and it would pull the two pieces of wood or whatever if you want. In any case, he put that on, and it looks sick. But he said that it ruined that guitar, and they never used it for recording.
Yeah.
But it is all over the first couple of Van Halen albums.
Yeah.
Whenever he didn't need a whammy bar guitar, he used that
one. Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. But in any case, when you do that to a guitar, guys, please don't fall for bullshit like that. There's so much stuff on here. This guy's selling it as if that's I give him props it's a feature,
a bonus. No, you butchered that guitar.
You fucked that guitar up. But
I remember.
I applaud your marketing efforts.
Yeah. I remember back in the day when I was a kid, just getting into guitars. I'd go down to the north side and go to the pawn shops, and every time I went down there was a Gibson SG. And it had a natural finish, but somebody had carved the Christian fish into it. I'm like, and it sat there for years and years. I can't remember what they were asking back in the day for it, but nobody wanted it. I'm like, whoever had that ruined it, you know? Maybe you get some.
I can hear it. Wait a minute, I can hear it. I'm doing this for the Lord.
Praise you.
Oh man, the Lord didn't pay my rent this month. Now I gotta hawk my guitar.
Hawk my guitar. Oh man, that's a shame.
I'm kidding. If you're religious, I'm just having a little fun.
Just a little bit, because we were there once. So.
It's all good.
But I never carved a fish into my guitar. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You
know, it's like.
But if you're gonna modify your guitar for playability, like maybe different electronics, different pickups, or something like that, that's sometimes that's frowned upon. But I'd rather have you do that than cut a big hole in the middle of it. This is my Swiss cheese Les Paul. No, I'm gonna kill you now.
I had well, let me give you guys an example.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. I had a romance for the past 2 months on reverb with this PRS Carina. It was an SE.
Okay.
And the guy had it looks like it originally had two P90s. But what the guy did was this is cool, Kevin.
Yes.
He took out the neck P90. And put on a kind of almost Telecaster looking pickguard to cleverly do the electronics.
Okay.
Paul Reed Smith has never made that guitar.
Right.
This is and I thought this was really cool. It looked really neat. And I was really loving it. And he had replaced the tuners with locking tuners, which I'm a big, huge fan of. I want locking.
Yes.
I get on a guitar and I say, "Can you guys put locking tuners on my Martin?" They're like, "Get out, get out! We're not putting locking tuners on."
Unbeliever. Cast him out.
So, in any case, so it was like I had this romance, but guy wanted too much money.
Yeah,
he wanted almost $800 for it, and I'm like, I'm not. Most SEs are going for sub 400.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, when I bought I've owned 4 PRSs. They were all custom 22s. They weren't the 24s. I think they were the 22s. But when I bought them, they were all PRSs were still made in the United States. So when it comes to the SEs and the CEs and all that, I don't know. I could see one listed for $2,000 and think it's and then get it and go, it's a bolt-on neck.
Well, this was a set neck. This was a really nice guitar.
The ones made overseas are very nice too.
It's his design.
Yeah, exactly. How can
he
you
knows
go
how
wrong
to
with
design
that?
a guitar. That's that's just how that goes. But and I was really and then the guy dropped the price. Then he dropped it again.
Oh.
And it was down to $599.
Really?
And I was thinking, I'm gonna throw $500 at this and see what he does.
See if it sticks.
And as I was about to do it,
oh no,
I caught the picture of the back of the headstock, and I saw what are those weird dots?
Oh,
and then when I zoomed in on it, the locking tuners he put on, he had to drill new holes for.
Uh-oh.
And that I know it's just an SE or whatever, but it completely turned me off.
Uh-oh.
It was you know what I mean? It was maybe when sometimes you're dating a special lady, then you find out that she has a horrible, undisciplined child. You know what I mean? And it's
you're
that's not going to work. And I just was that bugged me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The rest of it was fucking great. If he had not fucked it up with those tuners, I can't believe he couldn't have found tuners that would have dropped right in there. And they make so many different kind of locking tuners now. There's gazillion companies in that game. Granted, they're not all the greatest. Some of them are inexpensive stuff made in China and stuff like that. But you could at least not have to drill, more holes. It just was. It looked shitty.
Yeah.
I don't explain it. You know what I mean? So sometimes that works. In the case it was working for me, then it started working against me. I just the other thing is I was thinking about we mentioned 5-watt world. What is it? We're here to help you get the most amount of music out of least amount of gear.
Exactly.
I'm no, it's how you can get us the the most amount of gear
for the least amount of
music.
yeah.
Least amount of music. Like what happens with that? I was thinking about this. Is this is guitar porn?
Yeah,
and it really is porn in a sense. Yeah, porn is kind of addictive.
Yeah.
It really is.
It releases the endorphins, man. I sit there and look at guitars. I'm like, yes.
But and here's what happens: is you don't play guitar. I don't mean you, but you stop. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of think you're doing music stuff.
But
by bullshitting yourself into thinking that like, oh man, I got to get that sound. I need this guitar. Or I need this pedal or this whatever. I have to have this piece of studio gear, whatever. And you're really just bullshitting yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it just became, I had like a moment of clarity.
Yes, you're
about
like,
it this week. I'm like,
okay.
That's exactly what this is. It is a kind of pornography.
Yeah.
So guys, just be aware of that. Like, it's fun to do, but it's like TikTok. Like, don't do too much. It's like masturbation, right?
Hey,
if you do
speak
too
for
much,
yourself.
if you do too much, you'll go blind.
Who said that?
But
Steph. Anyway,
but most.
Yeah.
I always said, but can I do it until I need glasses?
You already have. Now
Damn,
what?
well, now I gotta stop.
Now you gotta stop.
I am wearing glasses. Now what? Oh, you're fucked now.
There's a. If I may offer a solution, a remedy of sorts. To gas, of course, being gear acquisition
I thought you were going to say remedy to masturbation. I was like, whoa, Mr. Pittsburgh, here's a first.
No, we're not. No, but remedy for gas is having no money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just started. Well, I'm back to work. I had that little health issue there. I like that little inconvenience of cancer. But anyway, so I'm back to work and everything, and I'm finally building up what I like to call my emergency fund, but Lou has accurately described as my guitar fund.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of nice. But yeah. Oh, so Lou sends me this picture. Now, back in the day when I was in high school, there was a shopping mall not very far rather from our school, and after school we'd go over, and there was a piano shop. I can't remember the name. Not Kimball. It doesn't matter. But anyway, they also sold guitars, and their guitar of choice was Aria Pros.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd always go to the back of the guitar shop. The piano shop, and there would be the guitars, and they had Aria Pro at the time had a Les Paul looking guitar. And I remember seeing it, and some of the examples they had a nice natural finish and black finish and stuff like that. And back then I didn't have any taste, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I had one of those guitars. But geez, Lou, they were like $279. Holy, wow! Back in 1982, that's crazy. So Lou sends me a reverb, and it's one of those guitars. It's the Les Paul shaped Aria Pro, but Lou, what did it have? Triple pickups.
Triple. It's like having triple boobies.
I'm going to Mars and I touch 3 boobies. So. Do you like that?
Go ahead.
But anyway, it was very Frampton-esque because it had the cream pickups, the black, coverless bobbin pickups and stuff like that, and $250. It was $250, and it looked in really decent shape. And so I wrote back to Lou. I'm like, I finally had money. Someday I'll buy some guitars again. About a half hour later, I get a text from Lou. He's like, did you put a bid on that guitar? I said, no, I have no money. He goes, I just got an alert from Reverb that somebody put a bid in it. His first thought was, I wonder if that's Kevin. Not yet. Maybe someday. But yeah.
Okay. So what are we gonna? So we're gonna play kind of
Yes.
What's My Line?
Okay.
That's actually the title of today's podcast. I didn't even tell you guys what we were talking about. I'm just having so much fun. So we're gonna sort of do like a What's My Line. I'm going to throw some rock and roll quotes out. Now, this was originally conceived with more people here on the podcast, but I couldn't change directions. I was already had gone down this path and wasn't counting on having a. So, anyway, so I'm going to throw some quotes about rock and roll.
Okay.
Out.
Yes.
And I want us to kind of like maybe talk about
banter.
What we think about them.
A little banter.
And
about
I would like to see if Mr. Pittsburgh
can figure out
who said it.
Okay.
And if it's somebody who's like obscure, but I think the quote is cool, I'll just say it and tell you who said it.
Okay.
But some of these are lot of these are super famous people.
Okay.
Like super famous.
Sure. All right then.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, so we're just going to start right here. If it's illegal to rock and roll, then throw my ass in jail.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain. Isn't that great? Like, you think of Kurt as being this brooding, like, poet, intellectual, whatever. No. And now he's like, no, if it's illegal, then throw my ass. That's fucking sick. That's such a great rock and roll quote.
Yes.
You know, but Kurt was funny like that. Kurt was very, he was, even before Ashton Kutcher, he was punking people a lot. Yeah. A lot of things he did were like, so a good example of this is this. He punked the entire guitar community when he was on MTV and they were being interviewed before a concert, and they the interviewer had no idea about guitar or anything, but looked down and said, "Oh, why don't you tell us about these pedals you have here?" And on his pedal board was the DOD grunge pedal.
Okay.
And he was like, "This is the key to my sound." And like he says, if you kids really want to, get to where I am in rock and roll, you've got to have the grunge pedal. They went from selling like 30 a month.
Yep.
To not being able to keep them inside. They were selling like 30,000 a month.
Wow. Thanks, Kurt.
I mean, like,
that's
and he
awesome.
was making a funny joke.
It's a joke.
In fact, I don't even think that pedal was plugged in. I think it was just on his pedal board because he thought it was hilarious that he's supposed to be the leader. He probably was like, well, I'm the leader. I wonder if somebody gave it to him as a gift, like, hey, Kurt, you're the leader of the grunge.
Here you go, buddy. Here's a pedal for you.
You know, I mean, and they all I could imagine something like that happening, you know.
Probably.
And here it becomes this thing. But Kirk, if it's illegal to rock and roll, throw my ass in jail. I fucking love that.
That sounded like maybe an early battle cry. That's why I went with Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. All right. Then.
Okay, now listen to this one. This is great. Now, I think you may have heard this. I know when I read this, I had heard this quote before, and to me, it's obvious who the person would have said this. But I'm gonna.
All right. Let me see.
You ready?
Let me see if I know. Yeah. Go ahead.
Here we go. Elvis may be the king of rock and roll, but I am the queen.
That would be don't tell me his name. I just got Swiss cheese for brain. Little Richard, ladies and gentlemen. Little Richard, that's him.
You said it.
Ooh. And the winner is me. Right? Remember that? In the Grammys? All right, no, seriously. And the winner is still me. Shut up. I love that guy.
You know, he was one of those people that, like, it's like the world is a way better place because Little Richard was in it.
Exactly.
You know, just like
shut up.
I mean, he's kind of like more lighthearted James Brown in a way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he had a kind of different...
He had a good sense of humor, too. So it's like, okay, he's flamboyant, but man, he'll make me laugh. Okay, I got that one.
I do not remember who it was. Heard him being interviewed. It was a really famous rock star. Fuck, I don't know if it was like Dave Mason or David Gilmour or some. I apologize because I wish I could remember the person who this experience. But it was a famous rock star. It might have been Pete Townsend.
Okay.
We'll say it was Pete Townsend.
All right.
Had heard that Jimmy was in town.
Okay.
And wanted to go hear him play.
Sure.
Here's what it was. He had heard Little Richard was in town, and he had heard that he had this guitar player that he just had to check out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he went to see Little Richard, and he said Jimmy was fucking insane. Like, he played with his teeth. He threw the guitar, the whole thing. And so he was like, I got to meet this guy. The Who were already a big rock band.
Sure.
And so he's like, he really wanted to meet him. So he got backstage. Because people knew who he was, whatever. And he got backstage, and as he approached the dressing room, he hears Little Richard like fucking like screaming at Hendrick. Yelling at him, "Don't you ever upstage me again, you motherfucker, you'll be off this tour," whatever. And he says it was fucking crazy. He says, like, Little Richard lost his shit because you don't upstage Little Richard.
No,
no, that was just not going to happen. He is like, him and Bo Diddley, when they're interviewed in Hail Hail Rock and Roll, it's some of the best. It's like one of the best parts of that movie. Whoever put those two guys together was smart.
Yeah.
Taylor, what's his name? Taylor Shackelford? Is that his name? The
director? I think so, yeah.
He's married to Helen Mirren.
Oh, lucky man.
Anyways, moving right along.
Yes. All right. Next quote, ladies and gentlemen.
You might pick this one up.
Okay.
I think that you've heard this quote.
Okay.
Before, and I think you can, in context, you might even be able to figure it out from context.
Let's see. All right.
If you tried to give rock and roll another name,
come on, it's John
you might
Lennon.
call it Chuck Berry.
It's John Lennon. See?
I think that you could absolutely make a case, though, for that statement being 100% right. I've said for a long time, we've talked about this before, in my book, when I write the Loudini Bible of rock and roll,
yes,
the king of rock and roll will absolutely be Chuck Berry.
Oh, of course.
Of
course.
He is more the real nothing against Elvis.
No.
But he is more the real deal than Elvis in the sense that he's a singer, songwriter, balladeer, performer,
musician,
great electric guitar, lead guitarist. He's got all the things, think about the song Shooting Star by Bad Company.
Yes.
It tells the story of a Chuck Berry kind of, carrot guy that goes out on his own to create rock and roll.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's the sort of hero in the rock and roll story. And Chuck Berry is the very progenitor of it.
Yes, very much so.
Very much. So I'm I don't like to throw the race card around, but that has always been an ugly part, especially in that era of in American history. So a lot of people still had a lot of resentment about black people, and that could be one of those things to kind of keep the black man down. So
exactly.
They say,
right.
I mean that could easily factor into it too.
Okay.
Rock and roll music, if you like it, if you feel it, you can't help but move to it. That's what happens to me. I can't help it.
Wow.
Very famous person.
Very famous person.
Very, very. One of the most famous people who ever existed in the history of famous people.
Wow. Mo Howard. No, it was not Mo. No, not Mo Howard. Was it the King? Was it Elvis?
It's Elvis Presley.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
All right,
and this was probably in response to a question about his leg shaking.
Why are you shaking your leg?
You know what I mean?
I got Parkinson's. Shut up. I got Colonel Parkinson's.
I told you quit making me laugh.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I got Colonel Parkinson's.
Colonel Parkinson. Hey, what happened? Are we going to have a visit from Special K?
No, I don't know. I don't know if that would be...
now we need to create Colonel...
we need Lily here for that.
And we need Colonel Parkinson's.
Colonel...
I got to text the guys in the band and tell them, we're changing the name of the band to Colonel Parkinson's.
I like it.
Dude, that is awesome. A perfect name for a punk band.
There you go.
Colonel Parkinson's.
And then do all Elvis songs.
There, that's an Elvis tribute act. The Colonel Parkinson's.
Colonel Parkinson's. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, next one.
All right.
Woo.
Okay, I don't know. This is This is more interesting as the actual quote. You can see if you can figure it out, but I don't think you will. You see, unless you know the quote, you see, rock and roll isn't a career or hobby. It's a life force. It's something very essential.
Wow, that could be a lot of people.
That's the Edge from U2.
Wow.
And I think that when you get into music,
Yes.
I completely relate to that statement.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I think if I would, I did read that as a kid, but that was something that motivated my entire life. Was that feeling right there? It's like there's something about rock music. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it is. It's reaches something really deep in you.
Cockles of your heart.
Yeah. Well, that's all we need now is hot cockles.
Hot cockles. Hot cockles.
That's. You ever guys know the comedian Jim Gaffigan?
Oh yeah.
He does randomly. He'll just go hot pockets just for no apparent reason. That's his thing.
That's his thing.
Okay. You got to see him on Joe Rogan, because like
that would be
he's because he's a very like clueless kind of just like he knows nothing. He's literally just going along with whatever his managers and say. People say, no, you believe in this. Oh, okay. And so Rogan, like, they get into some discussions and stuff, and when he's faced with like completely cold hard facts about things, he's just like he's like short circuit.
What are you talking about?
It's funny as fuck. Okay. If you don't know the blue, you might know this one.
Okay, all right.
And I could infer who would have said this. There's a handful of people.
Yeah.
If you don't know the blues, there's no point in picking up the guitar and playing rock and roll or any other form of popular music.
Man, I've heard the quote. I just can't think of who did it. So you'll have to tell me. Keith Richards. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Keith Riffhard. See, I knew you'd get it if you thought about it. We said at the same time.
Because it sounds like him, but I'm like, it could be anybody.
I mean, that's what really drove their music. Even Mick Jagger, with all his pop stardom and all that stuff like that. These are bluesmen. Mm-hmm. That's what they are.
Bluesmen.
I mean, in their hearts,
Eugene.
I thought that the record that they did. Of like blues standards. Mm-hmm. Did you ever hear that record?
No.
It's very good. It's like, wow, like this is what blues is fucking supposed to sound like. Like, it's very edgy. It's got this great, like, real dirty production. You know what I mean? Mick sounds great. Fucking Mick Jagger plays blues harp all over. He sounds like Muddy fucking Waters or whatever.
Well, speaking of which, I have the DVD where they sit in with Muddy.
Yeah.
For that show. I forget where it was. Chicago, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's incredible to watch.
Oh, goodness gracious.
All right.
Oh, God.
And now let's go right into it.
Okay. Okay, this is a this is timely.
Okay.
This gentleman just passed away.
Oh my. Okay.
Early on, I was more interested in gypsy jazz music until rock and roll came around, and I listened to a lot of Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, and skiffle singer Lonnie Donegan. Denny Lane.
Oh, it was Denny. Okay.
Interesting. Right. So he was another person influenced by Skittles.
Skittles.
Taste the rainbow. If you want to release your aggression, get up and dance. That's what rock and roll is all about.
Wow. Again, I don't know.
Spoken by the true king of rock and roll, Chuck Berry.
Oh, there you go. Very good. See, now, if you would have quoted "Where's my money?" I would have been, oh, it's Chuck Berry. Say, in 20 years, I'll sell it to you for $20,000. Then I'd know it's Chuck Berry. Right? All right.
Oh, goodness gracious. Rock and roll is here to stay.
Would that be Alan Freed? Well, it's here to stay. See, that was my guess.
He's also the same person that said, hey, my, rock and roll will never die.
Oh, that would be Mr. Neil Young, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think that rock and roll has stuck around. I don't know what, No,
yeah, it's still out there if you look for it.
It's there, like,
yes,
but Joe Bonamassa posted a funny meme.
Okay.
And I don't remember but it was a joke about guitar players playing loud and like telling people, you know what I mean, and like kind of like, fuck you, we want to play loud, whatever. But anyways,
fuck you, asshole.
And everybody, who's getting thumbs up from everybody.
Of course.
So, but I chimed in with, I said it's not really a joke. I said one of the issues in the music business is like, I can go to a concert and I don't even have good hearing. I can go to a concert and I can sit, me and Mr. Pittsburgh and I can stand in the pit and we can have a conversation.
Oh yeah.
That's a problem. Like, you're not supposed to be there. You're not there to have conversations.
Right. But
it's like when I went to see Godzilla at the movie theaters, and there was two morons who turned their fucking phones on. I mean, you're sitting there all of a sudden, you get this bright light hitting in the face.
Fucker.
Yeah.
Hey, fucker.
It was rude as fuck. whoever you people are. Don't do that. That's not nice.
Rude as fuck.
But, you know, you go to a concert, like, a concert should be at least that, Curtis, level of, like, you should be completely immersed.
Yeah.
Completely immersed in it. Like,
you went to see the band. See the band.
Yeah, you want to see the band. You want to hear the band. Like, I want to hear, like, I want to be enveloped. I want my clothes. I remember going to concerts and feeling it, like, thumping in my chest, and my clothes would literally be like, and it was fucking awesome.
Yes.
You know, there was, you know, and it's meant to be loud. And you're not supposed to be there to, like, you know, talk about what you did that day at work. You're supposed to be there to escape into the music.
Yeah.
And part of it is not your fault. Part of it is the fact that they won't turn the sound up.
Crank it.
I'm being serious.
I want to feel that music.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, the 60s are gone. Dope will never be as cheap. Sex never is free. And rock and roll never is great.
Wow.
This is a person who was famous at that time.
Yeah.
Kind of considered a leader of the hippie movement.
Oh, John Oates. No, it's not John Oates. That would be Jerry Garcia?
Close.
Oh.
Abby Hoffman.
Oh, wow.
Abby someone.
Abby Normal.
Wait a minute. Let's take me back here. Explain this to me. Where exactly did you get this? I saw that on TikTok. Somebody posted the whole. He's like, well, excuse me. No, I won't be mad. I promise.
I won't be mad. It's Abby someone.
That is such a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
I always say that maybe Blazing Saddles is funnier because it's like more kind of gross. But Young Frankenstein is
so
fucking brilliant. That's fucking insane. Like, there's insane performance. Well, Madeline Kahn, she's also in Blazing Saddles. She's insane.
Sure, yes.
But, like, it's, like, great performances. The fact that she shot in black. Gene fucking Hackman is the black guy. Like, the blind guy, sorry. The blind guy. Gene Hackman played the black guy.
Well, it wasn't black and white, so, yeah.
When Van Halen started out, there was no path to fame. We just played what we liked. Even today, it always comes down to the simplicity of rock and roll.
Huh. It's got to be either David Lee Roth or Eddie.
It's Eddie Van Halen.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know, that's
it's a little too brilliant for David. So, yeah, I can see that.
I think that's probably true. They are also a lot like Gene Simmons in the sense that they were immigrants that came to our country,
right? Didn't speak any English,
and
got
bullied
at school, yeah,
and everything. But found a path.
Yep.
They weren't. It wasn't silver spoon shit. They had to figure some shit out.
Yes.
Yeah, his parents weren't real excited about his mom, right? Or wasn't real excited about the
career
the rock and roll thing.
Yeah.
But they were going to do it. They couldn't not do it. I mean, and it was at that time, man, like if you showed some promise as a musician and you started jamming with some guys, like it's not like it is now where it's like everybody's in a band. Like you was like really kind of rare. And then like, maybe some people played guitar, but they were playing classical guitar or what I mean? Like they were just, somebody had an electric guitar and could play songs from the radio.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying?
You're
like
in.
it was
Yeah.
Who's to say a blues man can't play rock and roll? That's a great quote.
Wow. Again, could be so many people.
That's Joe Bonamassa.
Oh, well, see? Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
Oh, man. I finally saw his Rick Beato interview. It's good.
Oh, okay.
You see it?
I have not had time to catch it.
It's good. You should listen to it.
Okay.
Well, none of these you have to watch. You could just listen.
Well, yeah.
You should listen to the Nuno for sure because you love Van Halen.
Yeah, I did save it. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
But he's Joe. Mm-hmm. I don't really understand.
Yes.
The Joe Bonamassa hate. Like anytime there's like somebody posts something about Joe Bonamassa, there's always a couple people that could like, and some of these are guys that I know and are like kind of friends. I'm like, I don't really get where you're coming from. Like, I think the guy's like a dynamite musician and he's got a very cool voice and maybe it isn't. Maybe there's a lot of people who are blues purists.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They frown upon things like him being in Black Country Communion and
right
stuff like that. Also, I know that the Kenny Wayne Shepherd. My favorite Kenny Wayne Shepherd album is an album where he rejected the blues altogether. He did like kind of an alternative rock album.
Oh wow!
And I think it's his best fucking record. I think it's fucking killer. Oh my god! But he got so much hate, and people wouldn't come to the shows, and they were like yelling out, "Hey, play this song, play that." Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Yeah. Okay. We have to have a funny one, right?
Okay, sure.
Michael Jackson was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
It caused quite a controversy because his nose isn't eligible for another 15 years.
Oh, man. Because I've heard it. I'm trying to think who said it. Now you have to tell me.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, there you go.
Fellow Irishman.
Of course. Nice redhead.
The great thing about rock and roll is that someone like me can be a star.
Oh, man. Again, I've heard this quote. Can't think of who it is.
Sir Elton John.
Oh, interesting. Reginald.
This is a famous quote by this guy. You may have heard it.
Okay.
I wanted to have the adoration of John Lennon, but have the anonymity of Ringo Starr. I didn't want to be a front man. I just wanted to be back there and still be a rock and roll star at the same time.
Huh. Wow. Neil Peart.
I definitely heard the adoration of John Lennon, but the anonymity of Ringo Starr. I definitely have heard him say that part. I don't know if I knew the rest of the quote. Kurt Cobain.
Was it? Oh, wow. Fascinating.
I have a saying, which is crazy is good for business. I think rock and roll is really about being a bit crazy. And I think that it's true.
Yeah.
I think that's it's no fun. I think this is part of the problem with rock and roll right now. Is just like, where's the crazy?
Yeah.
Where's the
we've had
guys
this,
doing the out there, really out there shit,
tearing shit up.
Yeah, like really, like who's the guy that lives in hotels and tears out the walls?
Yeah, where is he?
Guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah. I mean, rock stars would pull stunts like that. They'd
throw
bring
TVs out into the pool and
you know what I mean, they'd be like, drive a tank through the lobby. You know what I mean? Like they would just
drive cars into swimming pools. A lot of swimming pool action with the rock stars.
Everybody started calling my music rock and roll, but it wasn't anything but the same rhythm and blues I've been playing down in New Orleans.
Is that Muddy?
Fats Domino.
Ooh.
Interesting. A kind of marketing. Now you're no. You're not R&B from New Orleans. You're rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Oh. Well, we want to hear him.
Yeah. Oh, in that case. Yeah. Wow.
Okay. I don't think I'm turning back the clock by doing these old tunes. I love rock and roll and popular music. It's just that the spirits of the singers whose songs I do are living within me. That's why the songs come out in the voices of the original singers. I'm not doing imitations. That's the way they sound inside me.
Wow.
That's a weird quote, huh?
Not the digest.
That's spooky.
Is it Robert Plant? No. I see you shaking your head in the negative fashion.
When you hear who it is, you're gonna be like, oh, of course, that person would say that.
Richard Simmons.
Close. Tiny Tim.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Yeah. He's like, wow, that's why the songs come out in the voices of the original singers. I'm not doing imitations. That's the way they sound inside me. I mean,
they all sound like Tiny Tim, apparently. Wow. Wow, that's an interesting story there. We could do a whole podcast on Tiny Tim. My God.
Hopefully,
yes,
I'm bringing to rock and roll some kind of spontaneity that I love, and I've always believed rock and roll stands for. Joe Perry. And and now I just remembered I was trying to say Brad Whitford before.
Brad Whitford, of course.
I thought I call him Randolph or something dumb.
No, you couldn't. Yeah, we couldn't get it. You called him Paul and Ringo or something like that. Eh? Gene.
Oh goodness gracious.
Stanley. Chuck.
Well, the stage show. You're not going to probably know this person. The stage show. Is in some sense highly theatrical. It's definitely not just a band in jeans playing rock and roll. That's by Amanda Palmer. Do you know who Amanda Palmer is?
I know the name.
Not Amanda Plummer.
Yeah, Amanda Palmer. Yeah.
Amanda Palmer is a very interesting character. I read her book, and she started out as the Giant Bride. She was, I believe, she lived in Boston, and she would stand on this platform that she created in this, like a bride's outfit, with her face painted like funny, like not funny, but like dramatically, and with holding out like a flower or something. Okay, and she would not move.
Wow.
And people would like take pictures with her and stuff like that. But she was actually a songwriter and a musician. And this was kind of her day job.
Interesting.
So that's the idea of having a theatrical stage show.
Sure.
Kind of fits with, what somebody would have come from that sort of background. Okay. She's very artsy-fartsy, but she's really brilliant. What she did with her business, she's very candid in her book about her wins and losses. But her whole thing was just to kind of like ask people, what do you think it's worth?
Okay.
You know what I mean? And she did a lot. So, and her whole thing became very interactive. Like, they would go to a town and they would make sure that before they got there, they found out who the local musicians were.
Okay.
And she would see who was available. And she would say, just come and play with us.
Yeah.
Come on the stage and play with us.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? So, like, a lot of musicians that never would get to tour or whatever, they got to play with a touring band. Like, and it endeared them to fucking everybody in the
we
town.
Love her.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she was like, and these shows were crazy that we'd erupt into spontaneous things we didn't know what we were going to do. But people loved it, and it was,
Right.
So she's a very interesting character. I invite you listeners out there to investigate her. I don't know how much more expressive you can get than being a rock and roll singer. Robert Plant.
Oh, see?
Well, one of the things, Katie Simone and I talked about this a few times, like why rock and roll is kind of the ultimate music, because you can bring in so many things. Rock and roll, just by definition, is a melting pot of and this is why it's so ubiquitous with America, the melting pot, blah blah blah, right? So, whoops. Oh, it's scaring me.
I know.
It's scaring me. Don't scare me.
Monitor just went off, but it's back. Don't worry.
So you can express anything you want. I mean, every genre of music has like flourished inside of rock.
Oh yeah.
Like Steely Dan is a band that showed us that you can play jazz and be rock. You know what I mean? There's bands that showed us that you can have, Chicago showed us, you can have like a 10-piece, like kind of like big band kind of thing going on and have big pop and rock hits. I mean, this was so interesting about rock. What I do know is rock and roll and metal never goes away ever. It took the back seat in America in the 90s. In Japan and South America, it is still really big. I never follow trends, so I don't know the exact function of them.
Wow. I don't know.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Ah, see, I would not have gotten that.
Now,
yes,
I know how they judge all that. But if anybody in the world deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Ritchie Valens does.
Wow. Jeez. Man. I don't know.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Buddy Holly's bass player. Waylon Jennings.
Wow. Yeah.
Rock and roll. Music for the neck downwards.
It wasn't Christopher Reeves.
Whoa!
What, too soon?
Oh, my God.
Is that too soon?
We need a better one than that.
Yeah. Where's the sound effect?
I don't know. I need a good one. Here we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
There it is. Thank you, Bones.
Wow.
Thank you. Too soon?
Jesus.
That's too soon?
Oh, it was harsh, Mr. Pittsburgh.
What?
Or do you have some kind of anger issues or something you need to get out?
No.
Do you have a...
There's just something inside me.
Are you hating on the paraplegic?
No. No, I love them. I love them with all my heart.
I used to do this to Stu. We'd be like in a room full of people and be talking, and I'd be like, Stu, why don't you tell everybody how you hate blind people? He has this thing with blind people. He can't stand blind people. Like if a blind person's walking across the street, like I do the whole thing, and he's like, "What are you talking?" And people think I'm being serious. I'm a terrible friend.
Man, you're bad. You're a bad man. You're stupid.
Don't be stupid now. Oh, goodness gracious. The whole idea of rock and roll lifestyle is a cartoon. It's caricature. Yes. At times it's made up of people emulating others. A few who actually live that lifestyle, and many who claim to live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Paul Stanley.
Oh, interesting.
If you want to break it down, rock and roll is about saying what you can't say in normal life to girls.
Wow, there you go.
So you just say it in those songs.
Yep, that's true. And I don't know who said
Marilyn Manson.
Oh, boy.
He's, I invite you, again, before people judge Marilyn Manson too harshly, to kind of look a little deeper into these, like, so-called allegations. There's a little bit more going on there than you realize. And as soon as I could put together the, 3 or 4 notes that made up, like, sort of rock and roll like a Chuck Berry kind of thing, I was just off and running, just completely taken over. Who said that?
Wow.
I love the way that's worded. That's obviously taken from some audio.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's Slash. That's great.
Oh, is it really? Wow. But it's true.
Oh, goodness gracious. One more. The first rule of rock and roll is it's all about live. Then you have to learn a second craft, which is making records. It should go in that order.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Sounds like somebody from our era. I don't know.
That is spoken by little Steven Van Zandt.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
If you guys have Sirius XM, I believe he still has his own Little Steven's Underground Garage. Yeah. And it's very good.
I've heard it. DVE plays it. I don't know if they still do on Sunday night, but I've listened to it. Yeah.
Neat, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Because he had a lot of, there's a lot of shit he'd, bring up. I'm like, I didn't know that. And I thought I knew about that artist. Yeah, he's very cool. I like Little Steven. He's a nice man. Little Steven. He's a nice man, too.
Ooh, Little Steven.
Okay, Little Steven. I don't think that's about him.
Have you guys heard, did I bring this up? Stevie Wonder isn't blind.
I've heard it. Maybe not from you, but I've heard it. I've heard allegations.
So there's this conspiracy theory.
Yes.
I think that the channel, and I think I might start following the channel. This guy does. I don't like a lot of social commentary channels because they end up getting pissy. They get some getting arguey.
Yeah.
I don't like stuff like that. But this guy's really funny. He's Irish or Scottish. Dude, I'll have to play. I apologize. He's either Irish or Scottish.
Okay.
He's got a very thick thing.
Yeah.
But he's got a really good sense of humor. And so he did this, 12-minute, 15-minute, whatever, YouTube video on this conspiracy theory.
Okay.
And I guess what has happened is an ex-girlfriend has come out and said that Stevie isn't blind. That he's been faking it all these years.
Okay.
And so this guy did a really good job of talking about how so many celebrities tell
stories.
Kind of weird, uncanny stories about Stevie Wonder being able to do kind of spooky shit for a blind guy. So he recounts a bunch of those in that. But supposedly Stevie has the kind of thing where he had the detached retinas. So he literally doesn't even know what any kind of sight is at all.
Right.
He
Never had that.
He may not.
He didn't lose his sight.
That type of thing, may not even experience even his darkness. Mm-hmm. It literally might be just lack of sight. Like, how do I explain it?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If you never had it, then there's no way you would know. You know what I mean? But some of the things that he does, you would think that like he must be able to see something. Yeah. Differentiate between somebody walking, a difference in the light and whatever. You would think. Also, he's a photographer. Now, figure that out.
Okay.
And do you know who David Glover is?
Yes.
Okay. He's a young man,
a
musician who's the son of the guy from Living Color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all related to the Glover who was in the Mel Gibson movie.
Danny Glover, yeah.
Predator 2 and all that, whatever.
Wow.
But he has weird stories about texting. Before talk to text was a thing,
Really?
Kind of like trying to understand what he was doing, you know what I mean? Shaq is on. They live in the same building, apparently. And Shaq said that he got on the elevator, and Stevie was on the elevator, and he reached out and he goes, and he goes, "Oh, hi, Shaq. I see you're going to the garage again," or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wow. But if you think about it, even if blind people you're developing, you're probably picking up on
somebody big getting on the elevator.
Somebody big in the footfalls. Also, the fact probably just somebody being in your personal space.
Right.
You can probably feel little changes in the air,
and stuff
like that.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, you're picking up. It's really interesting. Like our mind, the brain's is a really powerful thing. But so that wasn't that weird. Like he would, he would know and he knew Shaq lives in his building, and he probably could hear the guy breathing way up here.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably didn't take that much. I probably put a blindfold on a lot of people, and they would figure that out.
Oh, it's Shaq.
Yeah. But that's a weird. That's one of those strange things in the world. Do you have any new music that you want us to hear?
You know what? I've been nothing I can bring up now because I haven't done the research. I have a bunch of bands, but I just haven't done the research and looked them up and gotten.
There's a band that I'm getting kind of interested in that I've discovered on TikTok.
Okay.
They're called Maelstrom.
Oh yeah.
And but they don't have any releases yet. Like there's just like live clips.
Yes.
And
yes, there
I don't
are.
want to play it only because the audio quality just is like it isn't the good audio quality. You can't really tell what they're doing.
Is that they have a young lady playing bass?
I don't remember.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm talking about Hailstorm.
No. It's Mouse. It's got the little those two little dots above the A.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I know them. They first came into my thing because she will play, as you rock and rollers say, she plays tits out. Really, and she'll put like the kind of like the old Wendy O. Williams thing. She'll put like little tape over them, and at first I'm like, is she not wearing it? Oh, and then I'm like, whoa, she can really play. It's not just a gimmick.
I just want to pull it up real quick, and you take a peek and see if we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Because we may.
I may have even.
That's not really ringing any kind of bells with me, brother. It's these guys. I don't want to start playing it, but I don't think there's no women in the band. It's these guys.
Okay, yeah, that's not the. Let me.
Introducing Maelstrom. Maybe they're called Introducing Maelstrom.
Maybe.
Am I saying that right, Mr. Pittsburgh?
Oh, I don't know.
Mael, right? Strom, Maelstrom, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Spell it. Yeah.
All right, so I'll figure out who I was talking about.
Yeah. So okay, so you don't have one of them. Okay, that's all right. We'll muddle through somehow.
Okay. That's all right.
So I want you guys to check this band out. They are called
the
Damn Truth. Just the Damn Truth.
It's just the Damn Truthians, guys.
Now we're gonna have to skip through the beginning because this is one of these sort of theatrical beginnings. You know what I mean? And I guess what's going on is that there is a people are trying to make the most out of the medium.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a YouTube channel. and you're going to do a music video, why not give people maybe a little something
extra to watch? Almost like when Michael Jackson did that. Remember at the beginning of some of his videos, there'd be like a little story.
Well, Thriller.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although none of them have the. None of these guys have the production of what was his John what's his name? John Landis.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, this is called "I Just Gotta Let You Know." I'm gonna try to get through. Here we go.
Find the music.
Fun.
Oh yeah.
It sends a shiver through my bones. I get it like it's feeling lately, but I just gotta let you know. Oh yeah.
I love that
fun.
chorus. I thought it was really good. Like,
That's very cool.
yeah. Beautiful.
Like
it was beautiful, man.
I like
it was
it.
beautiful. It was a beautiful thing.
Brought tears to my eyes.
You okay, Mr. Pittsburgh?
I'm doing good.
Something you need to talk about over there?
No, I'm fine. I just now it bothers me. I can't remember that band that I was talking about.
Oh,
it's obviously different.
Oh my!
Oh my is right. I'm just kind of looking through my contacts here.
Looking through
Actually,
my contacts.
I'm looking through my glasses, but I'm looking through my glasses at my contacts. There you go. That's what I meant. Oh, well.
Okay, there was one more quote that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
If I can find it.
Sure.
Okay,
there it is.
this is neat. This was said by somebody who was famous.
Okay.
Sort of had his 15 minutes. Rock and roll is the music of freedom, and that frightens people. Salman Rushdie.
Wow. Okay. I have all of his albums. Well, most of them. I didn't. That one. Fuck the bitches. I don't have that.
Yeah,
album.
it's
out of print now.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a guy who was fleeing. You know. I mean, he had a death sentence. He had a price on his head for writing a book. Huh. You know. And so he probably understood, you know, more about rock and roll than probably a lot of rock and rollers do.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Wowsy! Wow!
You okay? You gonna be all right?
Yeah.
You feel all right
really
over there.
Bothers me that I can't remember that band.
It bothers me that I can't remember that band.
As soon as I go home and fire up TikTok, it'll be on. Like,
We better come right back over here. We got to finish the podcast.
Got to finish the podcast. All right, I'm putting the phone down. Oh my goodness gracious!
So, do you think you might go see Godzilla -1?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because everything I've heard about it has been good. And here you are now talking about saying, yeah, you know. So I'll have to, me and the daughter and her boyfriend will go see it.
Godzilla is, I also recently watched the one called Shin Godzilla, which was the last Godzilla movie that Toho put out before like the Americans started doing that, you know. And that was okay.
Okay.
That was okay. It was the subtitles were screwy because there was there was a lot of fast dialogue in that.
Okay.
And the subtitles would go by so fast I couldn't keep up.
You're like, whoa. Can you rewind the film?
And so I was actually looking for an English dubbed version Because even though that's
Right.
annoying to watch their mouths,
Right.
I was like,
Ooh,
I would like probably, but I heard, but I just had to kind of relax into it and accept that I wasn't going to pick up on
Pick it
everything
all
that was
up.
being said.
Yeah.
But that's not as good of a movie at all as Godzilla minus one. That's like, that was okay, but this is I just can't say enough about it. Like but it's not perfect, and you got to realize you got to have to relax in the slow parts and just go. Godzilla's coming back. God, just relax. There's gonna be some Godzilla action. Just relax.
Yes.
Just relax. It's gonna be good. You're gonna have a good time. A lot of people that you saw earlier in the movie are now gonna come back, and there's gonna be a big heroic. You're gonna enjoy yourself. Just it's gonna be very satisfying.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, all right.
So, would you think you're gonna? I wanted to tell you you were talking with an Aria Pro. I didn't meant to mention that earlier.
Did you buy it?
I did not buy it.
Okay then.
But I do know somebody that had that guitar.
Yeah, that
back
Les
in
Paul
the,
style.
in the late 70s, early 80s. And it was red.
Yeah.
And he had
Fulton Music, I think, was the name of the place in South Hills Village. It was a piano.
Fulton Music, that was it.
That's exactly what it was, yeah.
It was red, and it had these weird pickups that were like they had like a weird I don't know, you know all this shit. Maybe you would know what these are. They were humbucking pickups. They had two pickups like a Les Paul, but they had a weird almost clear plastic covering over the bobbins.
Oh, okay.
You could see through them, but there was a weird translucent kind of...
I had a Marauder like that once.
Yeah, it's that kind of pickup.
It's like that kind of pickup.
Yeah, that kind of pickup. But they were regular humbuckers. They were regular humbuckers.
Yeah.
And I got to put my fingers on it for a couple of minutes. It was a guy's guitar from Pianosburg. His name was Phil LaPerry.
Okay.
And I remember the action being really low.
Yeah.
I remember it just did play really nice.
They're still affordable. That's why I was kind of surprised that was only $250.
Well, after this podcast, the price is going to go through the roof.
Yeah. Oh, well. I do look at them. My first brand new guitar was an Aria Pro 2. It was a Stratocaster style guitar. I still have it. And, of course, I've completely taken it apart, repainted it, put new pickups in it. But I still have it. And I'll hold on to that because it's worth absolutely nothing now. It's sentimental.
Well, yeah, and that's always I always looked at that as your project guitar.
Yeah. Try things out with it.
Try things out with it.
And I'm probably not done with it. I'll probably, I'm like, what if I do this? Because I have extra parts now. So I'm like, let me put this in here.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Have you ever,
just once? But
have you ever played around with fuzz?
No.
You should.
I would like to.
You should get a fuzz. You should get a fuzz pedal.
I would like to.
Don't get anything that's like an actual fuzz. Don't get
not distortion. Super overdrive.
Don't get anything that does this too. But just a dedicated fuzz because you can't. Fuzz is so weird. Like you can't play your regular shit when you play with fuzz.
Really?
It forces you to try to come up with some
new
different
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And also, it really, even though it's super distorted, the way that it distorts, it doesn't give you any advantages like in your playing.
Right.
So it's almost you're fighting the note a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you try to play fast things with fuzz, like unless you absolutely 100% nail every fucking note, it's gonna be like fuck you, that's
like,
how fuzz is.
That's not what I want.
Fuzz is completely unforgiving. Like you can't be deceived by the fact that it's super distorted. It's like more distorted than a lot of like even like heavy metal distortion. But it's a different way it does it. It's like it has a completely different effect. And
fuzzy.
Yeah, I started trying to get better at playing with fuzz. I don't know why. I just want something different. Mix it up. You know what I mean? And it's a real challenge to kind of relax into like, okay, what is this thing doing now? It's almost like playing a different instrument. It's a lot of fun. I use that full tone octafuzz, and that's the other thing is you get a fuzz, get one that has the octave thing on it.
Okay.
Because that's the end of Purple Haze. You're
right.
That's that octafuzz thing, and you can really get Hendrixy get your Hendrix on with it. But you can also do a lot of stuff. I was jamming to some. I found a new Jam Tracks channel on YouTube.
Yes.
And a guy does all this. What do you call it? Urban trap and stuff like that, which is like these super cool, almost. Look, I'm a white guy. I'm sorry. Kind of what I would call kind of hip hop kind of beats.
Sure.
With like really like great chord changes, like played on like real mellow kind of instruments, like a cool kind of laid back funky bass lines. And so I was like hearing fuzz on this. I was like giving it like a real neat lo-fi kind of thing, you know? And it really forced me to like simmer down like on the guitar, like to really dumb it down, play super, like just play in and there was a lot of times like I was almost playing what people might call rhythm guitar, like just like playing off of the kind of grooves that the you know, so it takes you into a different world. I mean, there's people I know, like a lot of guys that like high gain and stuff like that. They, you know, fuzz is like 4-letter F-U-Z. It is a 4-letter word.
Oh,
yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah. So
F-U-Z-Z.
I love. Do you ever see the guitar channel Robert? It used to be Robert's Guitar Dungeon. Now it's Robert Jackson.
I don't think
we
so.
have a big dude. He's got a goatee, bald head. He's like you could tell he's a nice guy, but like he doesn't brook any fucking bullshit. And like he says so many times, I fucking hate fuzz. Can't fucking stand
really?
it.
Tell us how you feel about that. Wow.
I want to buy him a fuzz pedal and send it to him.
Just send it to him. Here. Gift it.
So
you're welcome.
So no, it is. It's tough. It's like its own thing.
Cool.
So a lot of guys that play like, you know, it's not going to be a thing you're going to hear probably like Warren D. Martini or George Lynch use. You know what I mean? Anyways, so it was my kind of week in rock and everything like that. Real quick, there's a channel I love on Facebook. It's called Fanboy Flicks, Weird Movies with Mark. And this guy takes these movies that like don't make any sense and stuff like that, and really points out all the and he's a comedian. He's funny as fuck.
All right, yeah.
But there is a the one I watched a couple this week, but the one that I would recommend is his essay on The Breach, starring Bruce Willis. This came out during the pandemic, and it's a sort of space adventure horror kind of story, and it really I put it on and couldn't finish it.
Oh wow,
it was too stupid. I turned it off, you know. So I remember when it came out, and it's like one of those movies. You know, Nick Cage will do like, oh yeah, he did this for the money. You know, it's like he's been a million movies that are total stinkers, but you know, Bruce is kind of doing that now. He's like in like anything. I'm like, what are you doing? Anymore. You know, just like whatever it is, you know, just you know.
Yeah, the last one I saw with him, I'm like, oh, he totally phoned it in. Then after I saw the movie, I heard about his diagnosis of aphasia, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But I'm like, nah, he's kind of like that in the past too.
Him and Kevin Smith didn't see eye to eye, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I heard he's a guy who's hard to work with. Bruce Willis. I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that. Other than Kevin Smith. Right?
Yeah, no, I have heard that. Yeah. But so it's like one of those movies. It's like, you know, it did not help Bruce Willis's career. I mean, it is not. It's really, really stupid. And but there's a scene in the movie, and I remember seeing this scene where somebody's cleaning. This is on a fucking spaceship, Kevin. Okay, we're 200 years in the future.
Yeah,
like we're flying. We can like do interstellar travel.
Sure.
Okay. This guy's cleaning the bathroom. It's like somebody's shit all over the bathroom and pissed on the walls. Like, what the fuck? Is there fucking is there a wait a minute. Is there like a BP bathroom on the fucking spaceship?
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, apparently.
What the fuck, dude?
And don't they have why not have a robot clean it?
What I'm saying is, like, in the future, people are still pissing on the wall
and shitting everywhere.
Like, you know. So in Mark's essay on this, he gets to that point in the movie, and dude, he has a conniption meltdown.
I bet.
It's fucking hilarious. I wrote a comment. I'm like, dude, you're fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, like. Like what? Oh, he loses his mind. The video's 15 minutes, just 5 minutes devoted to his philosophy on what we should do with the bathrooms.
Oh,
it's
man.
fucking crazy.
Wow.
It is. You should watch it, dude. He's fun. He's like that Space Iced. It's in the same style.
Okay.
He does it in a different way, but it's the same kind of like taking a movie and like, you know, finding hilarious shit about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys will enjoy that. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Go to rockrageradio.com. Download the free app. Pray to the Lord Jesus. We will have Lily back next week.
Please.
So we can have Lily's Love Corner.
Yeah.
We started this. She did it one time. I'm going to try to encourage her to pick this back up in the future, in next year, with her sort of like dating and relationship
fiascos and adventures. Yes. I don't even think I heard that episode for whatever reason. Like I was sick or something like that, and oh my god.
Maybe it was when you were doing a hockey game. What did you do? No, you were sick.
I was sick or something.
Yeah, she came out. Anyways, so let's do Rock Rage Radio. Sorry, I'm distracting myself. RockRageRadio.com.
Let's give our thanks. Yeah.
So check them out. Listen to Hot Licks with Lily 6 at 6 p.m. on Thursdays. Go to wolfscustoms.online for custom artwork on your musical instrument. And please visit LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. There's merch and all kind of stuff about our private Facebook group that you hear me reference here.
You can check out our privates.
Yeah, you guys almost got like a concert jam this week. A guitar jam video live from me this week, but my system wouldn't work. I thought I had recorded this thing and I came back and it never streamed. It never did anything. So like shit happened. So we'll nail it down. We'll nail it down. I'm working on things. I got ideas. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you do. So. And look for me if you're on TikTok. Look
that's right, Mr. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. Just look up Pittsburgh Kevin, all one word, all lowercase thing. Pittsburgh Kevin. Come visit me. Come look at my shenanigans, my guitars, my stories, and it'll be fun.
You said come. Come see me.
Come see me. Whoa. Whoa. Blossom. Whoa.
I remember doing that to people.
What, coming on them?
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry about that.
When the Beavis and Butthead thing was happening, I ingested it so much. I was in a situation where I was spending a lot. They would run it. They started running Beavis and Butthead marathons.
Yeah. Yep.
And I would get stoned and drunk and get Sheets Death Dogs. And watch these marathons. Oh my God. And so in my waking life,
yes,
when people would say something, but I don't understand, I would go, "You fed butt."
Yeah.
I started doing it all the time.
I said
it to a college professor.
Nice. That's great.
It was just inadvertent.
You fed nuts. I forget what actor they were talking about. I'll say this real quick. What the actor? It was on a talk show, and they happened to be talking about Mike Judge, who created Beavis and Butthead, and the guy's like, I flew on a flight with him a couple months ago. He goes, I didn't know he was back there until like we're in the air, and the stewardess comes up to me and she goes, "Would you like pretzels or nuts?" And I heard 2 rows back somebody go, "She said nuts." So it's not just us. Mike Judge does it too.
He just does that.
Yeah.
So that's his real personality.
Yeah, that's his real personality.
You fed nuts.
All right, peoples.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Mr. Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Loudini, have a great one. I'll catch you all on the next Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
See ya.